So let's take a look at long multiplication, and one method, my preferred method of working long multiplication by hand out. So in front of me, I've got a couple of different problems here. I've got 93 times 72, and I've got 1,372 times 128. Now, both of these problems are problems that I would immediately look at and go, you know, I'm not going to be able to solve this instantly in my head. I could estimate it. All right, and estimating is a very important process. So for example, if I wanted to estimate the solution of these two just here, I could think of this as approximately 90 times 70 and go 9 times 7, well, that's going to be 63 with 2 zeros. Okay, so it's going to be greater than 6,300, but it gives me an approximation. However, we're not looking at approximating in this video. Approximating is a very good skill to have, so you can sort of look at your solutions and go, does this seem reasonable? But let's look at how can we actually tackle this problem by hand and find the exact solution of it. So the first thing that we do is we line them up. So when I say line them up, we list them like this, okay? So we've got 93 times 72. And what we do is we take the first digit here, so the 2 on the, well, I say the first digit of the 7, the units digit of the 72, and we multiply the 2 with the 3 and multiply the 2 with the 9. But first, 2 times 3 is going to be 6, and we put our solution there. All right, then we go 2 times 9, which is 18, and we go the 1 and 8 here. Now, when we get to the 7, because this is our tens column, we have to ignore our units. We have to put a 0 here because we're looking at how many tens do we have. And we now go the 7 times the 3, which is going to be 21. Now, I put the 1 here and I put the 2 up high in here. Okay, and I go 7 times 9, which is 63, but I have to add 2 more to that. Okay, so 63 plus 2 will be 65. And now what I have here is 2 little sums that I want to add together. So I've got the 6 plus the 0, which is 6. I've got 8 plus 1, which is 9. I've got 1 plus 5, which is 6. And I've got 6 on its own, which is 6. And the result of this is what 93 times 72 is equal to. So therefore, 93 times 72 is equal to 6,696. So as you can see, it is greater than the 6,300 estimate that we sort of looked at. It's in the right ballpark figure. Like I said, it was an estimate and we underestimated it. So it kind of makes sense. There's going to be a reasonable amount over. So how do we do that when we start dealing with more digits though? So let's take a look at the problem. So in this case, we've got 1,327 multiplied by 128. Now, we roll a line here. The first thing that we do is we do the 8 times every number above it. So it's going to be 8 times 7, which is 56. Now I'm going to put the little 5 here, a little 6 here. I go 8 times 2, which is 16, plus the 5 is going to be 21. So we're always adding that number that's sort of left over at the end. I tend to cross this off as I'm done with it, so that way it doesn't confuse me for future problems. All right, or future sums I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 8 times the 3 now, which is going to be 24. Add the 2 is 26. And then 1 times 8 is 8, plus the 2 is 10, and the 1, 0 goes in here. Now, as I move along, all right, I don't know if I've got a little pointer. Yeah, I do. So as I move to this one just here, essentially what I need to do is I need to add a 0 to this little column here because I'm dealing with tens on the 128. I need to make sure that the units is a 0 as I start working this through. So I put a little 0 here, and now I'm just going to do that 2 times the 7, 2 times the 2, the 3, the 1. So 2 times the 7 is 14. Now the 1 I put up high, the unit I put just in here, okay? So it's 1 and 4. Then the 2 times the 2 is going to be 4, but I have to add that 1 to it. So this is going to be 5. The 2 times the 3 is 6, and the 2 times the 1 is 2. Now, when we move on to the third digit here, we're now dealing with hundreds, okay? So it means we want a 0 in our units column, a 0 in our tens column. So let's put those zeros in. And then we apply the same thing that we're just doing. That 1 is going to multiply everything up the top just here. So 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. This is going to be nice and simple. 1 times 3 is 3. And 1 times 1 is 1. And once we do that, like we did before, we roll a line underneath and we now sum each column together. So we've got 6 plus 0 plus 0, which is 6. 1 plus 4 plus 0, which is 5. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus another 7 is 18, so they carry the 1 to the next column. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus the 1 is 9. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, and then 1 is just going to be on its own. So we can quickly see that 1,327 times 128 is going to be equal to 169,856. Okay, and that's the method, and my preferred method, of being able to multiply larger numbers together, okay, using long multiplication.